What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary suburban neighborhood held a secret so dark it would end in a shocking murder? Imagine the thrill and suspense of discovering this hidden world right next door. In this intriguing tale, we delve into the story of a housewife whose secret affair with her neighbor's son spiraled into a deadly mystery. As the layers of this eerie and captivating story unravel, you will find yourself questioning every neighborly smile and friendly wave. Stay with us as we explore the unexpected twists and chilling turns that led to a brutal crime hidden beneath the facade of a quiet community. This isn't just another true crime story. It's a narrative that will keep you on the edge of your seat, pondering the secrets buried in places you least expect. Get ready for a journey into the unsettling and mysterious, where the lines between ordinary and sinister blur in unexpected ways. The initial spark of the affair was lit in the most unassuming of moments, a shared glance across the fence on a quiet afternoon. The housewife, trapped in a monotonous routine, found herself drawn to the neighbor's son, whose youthful energy presented a stark contrast to her daily life. Their interactions began innocently, fueled by casual conversations and fleeting smiles that hinted at something deeper. Over time, these small gestures blossomed into a forbidden relationship, speckled with stolen moments that defied the boundaries of their reality. His presence ignited a part of her that had long been dormant, whispering promises of excitement and escape from the dreary predictability of her world. But beneath these exchanges lay a tangled web of motives and desires. The housewife, perhaps yearning for attention and novelty, found comfort in the neighbor's son's admiration, while he, seeking validation and thrill, reveled in the secrecy of their connection. Their backgrounds, though different, intertwined in a way that neither could have anticipated. She, a product of her environment, and he, a young man at the cusp of defining his path, both navigated a delicate dance of affection and deceit. Together, they stepped into a labyrinth of emotion, unaware of the havoc their affair would ultimately unleash. The clandestine nature of their meetings only heightened the allure, as each encounter brought them a step closer to a boundary they were both destined to cross. Little did they know, the passion they shared was leading them down a path that would soon be marked by tragedy and betrayal, reshaping the very fabric of their lives forever. The character profiles will bring depth and complexity to our story. Let's first meet the housewife, whose name is Emily. On the surface, Emily is the epitome of a devoted homemaker, spending her days tending to her beautiful garden and caring for her family. Her life appears idyllic, yet there's a melancholy in her eyes, a longing for something more than her suburban existence. Beneath her calm exterior is a woman searching for excitement and meaning beyond the confines of her routine. Her past, once filled with dreams and aspirations, has become overshadowed by the demands of everyday life. Emily's yearning for change sets the stage for the fateful decisions that follow, driven by a desire to reclaim a piece of herself she fears is lost forever. Now introducing the neighbor's son, Alex. He is a young man full of life, ambition, and a magnetic charm that draws people to him effortlessly. Alex's world is one of possibilities, as he stands on the brink of adulthood, eager to carve out his place in the world. However, beneath his confident demeanor lies an insecurity that pushes him to seek validation through risky choices. His relationship with Emily becomes an intoxicating escape from his own uncertainties, offering a thrill he can't resist. Alex is both captivated and perplexed by the forbidden nature of their connection, Unable to foresee the consequences his actions will unleash. In this unfolding drama, we also encounter other key figures who play pivotal roles. Emily's husband, David, is a hard-working man devoted to his family, yet oblivious to the storm brewing within his home. His focus on providing for his loved ones blinds him to the subtle shifts in Emily's behavior, leaving him vulnerable to the shattering truth that awaits. And then there's Sarah, Emily's closest friend and confidante, who senses the changes in Emily's demeanor, but is caught in a moral quandary, unsure whether to intervene or respect her friend's privacy. These characters, each with their desires and dilemmas, weave together a tapestry of intrigue and emotion. As we continue this journey, their choices and interactions will illuminate the path toward an inevitable reckoning, one that will reshape their lives in ways they never thought possible. The secret romance was shrouded in shadows, hidden from the world by the veil of night. Emily and Alex found themselves embarking on a journey fraught with risk and intrigue. Every stolen moment was a dance upon a razor's edge, where each encounter carried the weight of discovery. They met in the dim, whispering corners of the neighborhood, places that promised safety, yet held the thrill of danger. The rendezvous were laced with urgency, as anticipation and fear intertwined with every heartbeat. Their shared glances across crowded spaces, brief touches that spoke volumes, and hurried whispers in the dark, all told the story of a connection that defied reason. The emotional complexity of their affair was a storm. For Emily, each moment with Alex carved out a slice of freedom from her confining world. The magnetic pull between them was undeniable, stirring her heart in ways she had long forgotten. For Alex, the allure of their secret meetings satisfied a yearning for validation and excitement, offering him an escape from the uncertainties of his future. Yet beneath the surface of their passion lay a tension, a persistent question of how far they were willing to go. Their connection was an intoxicating blend of affection and deception, a reality they both created and feared. The secrecy that shielded their romance also wove a tangled web of lies and betrayal, pulling them deeper into a labyrinth with no clear way back. As their story unfolded, the repercussions of their choices began to ripple outward, touching the lives of those around them. They both knew that each encounter might be their last, yet the siren call of their forbidden love was too strong to resist. In their quest for something more, Emily and Alex found themselves bound by a delicate thread of secrecy, one that threatened to unravel the lives they had always known. As they stood on the precipice of discovery, the choices they made would soon lead them to a point of no return, where passion and peril collide, forever altering the landscape of their existence. Community gossip in a neighborhood where everyone knows everyone, whispers have a way of gaining momentum, like a ripple across a calm lake. The sudden change in Emily's demeanor didn't go unnoticed, and as the days passed, quiet murmurings began to spread among the neighbors. Conversations that initially started with casual chit-chat at the local coffee shop or during weekend barbecues soon turned into speculative discussions about Emily and her new mysterious behavior. Neighbors exchanged knowing glances and shared hushed words behind closed doors, each adding their own piece to the puzzle of Emily and Alex's clandestine affair. The seemingly innocent curiosity fueled a growing web of gossip that wove through the community, planting seeds of suspicion and stirring the pot of potential conflict. Sarah, Emily's closest friend, found herself in a difficult position. She felt the eyes of neighbors upon her, probing for confirmations or denials of the rumors swirling around her friend. Caught between loyalty and truth, Sarah grappled with whether to confront Emily or remain silent, fearing that any action could unravel their friendship. Meanwhile, David, oblivious to the whispers surrounding his wife, became an unknowing subject of pity among his peers. His noble intentions and dedication to his family blinded him to the storm brewing around his household, making him the focal point of neighborly sympathies and quiet judgment. As the gossip continued to gain traction, it became a catalyst for intrigue, drawing more eyes and ears to the unfolding narrative. Emily and Alex's once secret affair became a source of speculation and fascination, a story that pulled at the hidden curiosity and voyeuristic tendencies of the community. The potential drama simmered just beneath the surface, waiting for one misstep or revelation to bring their carefully concealed secret into the glaring light of day. The neighborhood's tightly knit fabric was beginning to fray, and the ripples from Emily and Alex's choices threatened to tear apart the seemingly perfect world they all inhabited. This growing wave of suspicion set the scene for an inevitable clash, where truths long buried would find their way into the open, leaving no one untouched by the consequences. The turning point came on an otherwise unremarkable evening, one that seemed destined to fade into the background of ordinary life. Yet, it was this night that would set the stage for an irreversible chain of events, a catalyst in the hidden narrative of Emily and Alex's affair. It began with a seemingly innocent neighborhood gathering hosted by David and Emily. Friends and acquaintances filled their home, sharing laughter and stories, blissfully unaware of the undercurrents of tension rippling just beneath the surface. Yet as the evening wore on, subtle cracks in the facade began to appear. Emily, visibly distracted, caught in a web of her own thoughts, struggled to maintain the charade of normalcy. Her interactions were stilted, her responses delayed, and her attention seemed constantly drawn to Alex, who lingered at the periphery of the gathering, a silent storm of emotions brewing within him. It was during a quiet moment in the bustling household that Alex and Emily found themselves alone, a chance encounter that seemed orchestrated by fate itself. The air between them crackled with unspoken words, a palpable tension that neither could ignore. In this stolen moment, the reality of their situation came crashing down upon them. They spoke in hushed voices, words filled with urgency and fear, finally acknowledging the precariousness of their secret. The possibility of exposure loomed large, a shadow that threatened to consume everything they held dear. In that instant, the consequences of their actions became painfully clear, but it was a single slip in their guarded conversation, overheard by an unsuspecting guest, that set the wheels of disaster in motion. The guest, taken aback by the revelation, quickly became the bearer of the scandalous secret, inadvertently fanning the flames of the community gossip that had already taken root. As whispers spread, the tension escalated, and the once quiet neighborhood was now abuzz with speculation and suspicion. Emily and Alex's carefully constructed world was beginning to unravel, haunted by the specter of discovery and the inevitable fallout that would follow. Amidst this turmoil, David remained oblivious, still unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. But Emily knew the time was running out. As the night drew to a close, the weight of their choices settled heavily on her shoulders. She could feel the walls closing in, each passing second drawing them closer to a reckoning that could no longer be avoided. The evening, meant to be a simple gathering, had become the turning point in a tale teetering on the brink of disaster. With the truth poised to break free, Emily and Alex stood on the edge of a precipice, facing a future forever altered by the decisions of the past. What began as whispers would soon crescendo into a revelation with the power to shatter lives and expose the dark secrets that lay hidden in plain sight. The discovery of the affair was akin to a crack in the ice, slowly spreading until the once solid surface shattered completely. David stumbled upon the truth in the most unanticipated way. A misplaced phone, left forgotten on a kitchen counter, buzzed with a message that would unravel the carefully spun web of deception. The innocuous device, a seemingly ordinary part of daily life, became the harbinger of a secret that had been meticulously concealed. As David read the message, confusion morphed into disbelief, and disbelief into a chilling clarity that something was amiss. His mind raced, piecing together snippets of conversations and moments that suddenly took on a new, sinister meaning. The realization was a punch to the gut, leaving him reeling with betrayal he never saw coming. Emily, caught off guard by the unexpected confrontation, could only watch as her world crumbled around her. The confrontation was painful, a cascade of raw emotions laid bare as David demanded answers to questions he never thought he'd have to ask. Heartache and anger intertwined as David struggled to reconcile the woman he loved with the one who had kept such a significant part of herself hidden. The revelation sent shockwaves through their family, a seismic shift that left everyone grappling with the fractured reality of their lives. The children, sensing the tension, were initially bewildered by the changes in their once harmonious home. The facade of normalcy that Emily had so diligently maintained was now irreparably broken, leaving in its place a chasm of uncertainty and hurt. Within the community, the affair's exposure was like igniting dry tinder in a forest suddenly. The neighborhood was alive with fervent discussions and intense scrutiny. The whispers that had long simmered beneath the surface now erupted into open speculation and judgment. Neighbors who had once shared friendly smiles and small talk at the mailbox found themselves divided. Friendships were tested, alliances shifted. Some expressed sympathy for David, rallying around him with support and understanding. Others, perhaps with less compassion, reveled in the scandal, using it as fodder for gossip-filled gatherings. Sarah, torn between her loyalty to Emily and her own sense of right and wrong, was thrust into the spotlight as the confidante who knew more than she let on. Her decision to remain silent weighed heavily upon her, and she now faced the consequences of choosing between friendship and moral obligation. The affair's discovery cast a long shadow. Its ripples felt far beyond the immediate figures involved. The once tranquil neighborhood was no longer the picture-perfect community it appeared to be, its undercurrent of scandal revealing the complexities and hidden truths that lay beneath its surface. As the dust began to settle, the path toward healing and resolution remained uncertain. Emily and David, now facing an uncertain future, stood at a crossroads. The revelations had torn apart the life they knew, leaving them to navigate the rocky terrain of betrayal and forgiveness. Their story, once hidden and fraught with secrecy, had now become an open chapter in the community's collective narrative, forever changing the way they understood themselves and one another. The escalation to murder unfolded like a storm gathering on the horizon, its dark clouds casting ominous shadows over the lives entangled in this tragic tale. With the affair now exposed, tensions simmered beneath the surface, threatening to boil over into something far more sinister. Emily's once placid world was now a cauldron of emotions, her guilt intertwining with the anger and betrayal felt by those around her. Alex, too, found himself caught in an inescapable vortex, his initial thrill giving way to fear and desperation as he grappled with the full weight of his actions. The community, now a pressure cooker of speculation and judgment, only intensified the mounting strain. What had once been a secret whispered among shadows was now a glaring reality, debated and dissected under the harsh light of public scrutiny. In this charged atmosphere, the possibility of reconciliation seemed a distant hope, overshadowed by the growing specter of resentment and misunderstanding. It was during this escalation that an unexpected development occurred, one which pushed the situation to its breaking point. A confrontation, heated and uncontrolled, erupted between Alex and Emily's husband, David, who had been consumed by the betrayal he never anticipated. Fueled by a potent mix of heartache and indignation, their words became sharp, weapons flung in a desperate attempt to reclaim some sense of dignity and control. As tempers flared, the thin line between reason and rage blurred, creating a dangerous dynamic that teetered on the edge of chaos. In the ensuing argument, accusations and truths flew like arrows, each one inflicting a new wound in an already fragile state. Amidst the turmoil, Alex saw his world collapsing around him, his youthful bravado crumbling as he faced an unyielding reality. The confrontation was a catalyst that transformed the simmering tension into an uncontainable force. A series of events, seemingly inevitable, unfolded with a swiftness that left all involved in shock. Anguish gave way to desperation, and desperation to a fatal decision, as one moment of impulsive action set the stage for an irreversible outcome. It was a decision made in the heat of the moment, one that would forever alter the course of their lives. In a single, tragic instant, what began as a forbidden romance spiraled into violence, leaving tragedy in its wake. The community, once an unsuspecting landscape of suburban pleasantry, was now a ground zero for heartbreak, its residents left to grapple with the shocking reality of a life lost and lives forever changed. The murder, a violent culmination of unchecked emotions, became the final act in a drama that had spiraled far beyond its origins. In its aftermath, the town was left to pick up the pieces, the shadow of the crime lingering as a stark reminder of how quickly love and betrayal can escalate into unimaginable tragedy. As the dust settled, those involved were left to face the consequences of their actions, each carrying the weight of a decision that could never be undone. The murder, born out of passion and pain, forever etched into the fabric of their story, became a chilling testament to the dark corners of the human heart where desperation and despair collide. The journey from affair to murder was now complete, leaving behind a haunting legacy that would echo through the halls of memory, serving as both a warning and a lament for the lives irreparably altered by the choices made in moments of weakness and turmoil. The crime scene was a haunting tableau etched into the memory of the quaint suburban community. It was a chilly morning when the tranquility of the neighborhood shattered with the discovery of a body in the backyard of Emily's home. The victim lay sprawled on the carefully manicured lawn, a stark contrast to the serene surroundings, the stillness belying the violence that had erupted just hours before. As word of the tragedy spread, the street was soon alive with the presence of law enforcement. Yellow police tape cordoned off the area, signaling a site of investigation, that drew curious onlookers and neighbors in hushed disbelief. The first officers on the scene approached with caution, their senses heightened by the grim reality of what lay before them. The body, Alex, bore unmistakable signs of a violent struggle, his once vibrant form now motionless and marked by the brutalities of the night. Clues and impressions were preserved with meticulous care, the forensic team working methodically to document every shard of evidence. Blood, a silent testament to the chaos that had unfolded, was spattered in patterns that told a story of a desperate fight for life. The air was thick with the scent of iron and fear, adding a palpable weight to the grim task of uncovering the truth. Initial assessments painted a picture of a crime driven by passion and fury, the circumstances as clear as the morning dew that settled on the grass. The forensic team combed through every inch of the scene, from the displaced flowers trampled in the chaos to the trail of footsteps leading to the back door, each piece of the puzzle critical to unraveling the narrative woven in secrecy and shadows. The detectives, seasoned yet somber, huddled to analyze the early findings. They noted the signs of forced entry and the positioning of the body, details that suggested a confrontation that spiraled out of control. Witnesses were interviewed, their accounts forming a mosaic of half-truths and speculations. Neighbors shared what they had heard in the dead of night, the sounds of raised voices, a struggle that broke the silence like thunder. But few could piece together the entirety of events that led to the deadly outcome. As daylight broke over the scene, the officers knew that the answers to their questions were buried not only in the physical evidence, but in the hearts and minds of those entwined in this tragic story. Emily, found inside the house, was in a state of shock, her world now a blur of disbelief and sorrow. Her demeanor, caught between grief and confusion, only deepened the mystery of what truly transpired under the cloak of darkness. The initial police assessments pointed to a crime of passion, a theory supported by the raw emotion etched into every corner of the scene. But as the investigation unfolded, it became clear that the truth lay hidden within layers of deceit and desperation. The discovery of the murder had cast a long, ominous shadow over the community. Yet amidst the fear and uncertainty, the resolve to uncover the real story remained unwavering. The pieces, though fragmented and scattered, began to form a chilling picture of betrayal and rage, promising answers that would slowly untangle the web of secrets and lies that had ensnared them all. As investigators delved deeper, the crime scene stood as a silent witness to the dark realities that lurked beneath the surface of suburban normalcy, a haunting reminder of the fine line between love and destruction. The investigation begins with the early morning sun casting long shadows across the still, cordoned crime scene, a stark reminder of the darkness that recently unfolded. Law enforcement steps onto the scene with a determination to untangle the sinister events that transpired in Emily's backyard. Officers, detectives, and forensic experts swarm the area, each bringing their expertise to bear on a mystery that refuses to reveal its secrets easily. They start with meticulous documentation of the crime scene, every indentation in the grass, every smear of blood, and every displaced garden stone recorded with precise attention to detail. Their task is daunting: to reconstruct a narrative that speaks to the events of that fateful night. One of the first challenges they face is the lack of clear witnesses. The neighborhood, once rife with speculation, now falls silent, its residents reluctant to speak, yet eager to see justice served. The officers canvass the area, seeking statements from anyone who might have noticed anything unusual. Yet the fog of fear seems to dull memories, and many can offer only hearsay or the echoes of raised voices carried on the wind. Inside the house, investigators face another hurdle: Emily, who's still struggling with the shock of the night's events. Her account of the night is fragmented and fraught with emotion, leaving detectives to sift through her words for the reality buried within. She speaks of an argument, a confrontation that spiraled, but her recollections are punctuated with moments of blankness, gaps that leave investigators questioning the full picture of what actually happened. A breakthrough comes when the forensic team uncovers a crucial piece of evidence: a discarded piece of clothing found near the scene, stained with traces of blood. This discovery sparks a new line of inquiry, connecting the dots of a narrative slowly coming into focus. The clothing is sent for analysis, a process that promises to unravel the identities and movements tied to the crime. Throughout this arduous investigation, the team faces the pressure of a community demanding answers, the weight of unresolved tension palpable in every conversation and every sideways glance. Detectives work tirelessly to piece together a timeline, reviewing security footage from nearby homes, hoping to catch a glimpse of the moments leading up to the confrontation. They scrutinize phone records, mapping connections, and seeking any communication that might have predicted the night's tragic events. As they delve deeper, the detectives uncover another potential lead in a series of messages exchanged between Alex and an unknown contact. The messages hint at a growing desperation, a volatile mix of emotions that could hold the key to understanding the dynamics that led to the fatal encounter. The investigation team methodically follows these leads, each discovery shedding new light and fueling their resolve to uncover the truth. With these breakthroughs, the narrative of the night slowly begins to emerge, a tapestry woven from the strands of deceit, anger, and impulsive decisions. As the investigation progresses, it becomes clear that beneath the surface lies a complex web of motivations and emotions, all intricately tied to the passions that set this tragic tale in motion. The initial steps of the investigation, though challenging, lay the groundwork for uncovering the truth. The road ahead remains fraught with uncertainty, but the determination of the law enforcement team remains unwavering. Together, they inch closer to revealing the full story hidden behind the suburban facade, resolved to bring justice and closure to a community marred by unexpected violence and loss. Unraveling motives, we delve into the complex web of psychological and emotional factors that transformed a secret romance into a horrifying murder. At the heart of this tragedy lies a potent mix of desires, fears, and insecurities that set the stage for a deadly outcome. Emily, once yearning for excitement and meaning, found herself trapped between guilt and the remnants of forbidden passion. Her longing for validation and the thrill of something new clashed with the stark reality of her life unraveling. In Alex, we see a young man torn apart by conflicting emotions. His initial search for excitement spiraled into a desperate need to assert control and reclaim his sense of self-worth, even as the walls closed in around him. This desperation acted as a catalyst, pushing him further into a world where the line between affection and obsession blurred dangerously. The dynamics between Emily and Alex were fueled by a tangled mix of admiration and dependency. Each saw in the other a fleeting escape from their own inner turmoil, yet they soon discovered the cost of their choices was far greater than they had imagined. The emotional storm that gathered within them was compounded by external pressures. The community's scrutiny and the fractures in their personal lives intensified an already volatile situation. As the affair came to light, both Emily and Alex were thrust into a harsh spotlight that magnified their fears and insecurities. For Emily, the reality of lost dreams and a fractured marriage added layers of complexity to her actions, making her motives a blend of regret and a desperate grasp for control over her crumbling world. Alex, on the other hand, found himself driven by a primal need to escape judgment and the consequences that loomed over him. His youthful bravado masked a fragile psyche, wrestling with shame and anger, emotions that would ultimately lead him down a path of no return. The intertwining of their lives was not merely a tale of forbidden love, but a psychological powder keg waiting to explode. The murder became a chilling manifestation of unspoken fears and unresolved conflicts, a tragic testament to how deeply our emotions can influence our actions. As investigators sift through the remnants of this story, they uncover the complex motivations that contributed to the tragic events. It's a tapestry woven with threads of longing, betrayal, and a desperate search for redemption in a world that seemed to offer none. This unraveling of motives highlights the fragility of the human spirit and the unforeseen consequences that can arise from choices made in the throes of passion and despair. The journey from hidden romance to murder reveals the dark places within us all, where love and fear can drive decisions with irreversible consequences. As the truth comes to light, the profound impact of this tragic tale serves as a reminder of the intricate dance between emotion and choice, a dance that led to an unimaginable end. The courtroom was abuzz with tension, a hive of anticipation as the trial began, drawing in observers eager to witness the unfolding drama. The air was thick with the weight of the case, the community's scandal now laid bare for judgment. Emily sat at the defendant's table, her demeanor somber, as the gravity of the proceedings settled over her. Her once vivid world now reduced to the stark confines of the courtroom, where every word and gesture carried the potential to alter her fate. Opposite her, the prosecution was prepared, determined to paint a picture of reckless passion turned deadly. As the trial commenced, the opening statements set the stage for a gripping narrative. The prosecutor, with measured words, outlined a story of betrayal and consequence, suggesting that Emily's affair with Alex had set off a tragic chain of events culminating in his death. The defense, equally resolute, promised to reveal the complexities beneath the surface, urging the jury to consider the emotional tumult that fueled the fateful night. Witness testimonies became the heartbeat of the trial, each adding layers to the intricate tapestry of motives and actions. Sarah, torn by her loyalty, reluctantly took the stand, her voice steady yet tinged with sadness. She recounted Emily's growing detachment and hinted at the turbulent emotions that led to the affair. Her testimony offered glimpses into a friendship strained by secrets, weaving empathy and tension into the courtroom's fabric. David, bearing the scars of betrayal, delivered a poignant account of uncovering the affair. His raw emotion was palpable, his voice cracking as he described the moment he found the incriminating message. The courtroom listened intently, drawn into a narrative of heartache and confusion. His testimony, a reminder of the personal devastation lurking behind the trial's public facade. Key evidence was introduced, each piece scrutinized for its relevance to the case. The forensic analysis of the crime scene clothing was presented, revealing traces of struggle and violence. The prosecution argued that these findings underscored a confrontation gone horribly wrong, while the defense contended they were indicative of a desperate attempt at self-defense. The debate over these details created a charged atmosphere, with the defense striving to unravel the prosecution's narrative. Then came the moment the courtroom had been awaiting: Emily's turn to testify. Her admission to the stand was met with a hush, the room holding its collective breath as she began to speak. Her testimony was a delicate balance, a candid account of her relationship with Alex, entwined with the remorse and confusion that now defined her reality. She described their connection as a whirlwind, confessing her longing for something beyond the constraints of her life. Yet, she maintained that the events of that night were an accident born out of a moment of chaos and fear. Her words, a mixture of vulnerability and resilience, painted a picture of a woman caught in a tempest she never intended to create. In response, the prosecution pressed hard, challenging her account and suggesting intent where Emily saw none. The exchanges were contentious, the tension palpable as each side sought to assert their version of truth. The jury, faced with a narrative fraught with emotion and uncertainty, absorbed every detail with solemn attention. As the trial reached its conclusion, closing arguments encapsulated the case's complexity. The prosecutor implored the jury to see beyond the emotional upheaval, framing the affair as a prelude to premeditated violence. Meanwhile, the defense urged for a nuanced understanding, emphasizing the tragedy of human frailty and the unforeseen consequences of impulsive choices. With deliberations underway, the courtroom's final act hung in the balance, a verdict awaited with bated breath. Throughout the trial, the drama of human desire and consequence unfurled in all its rawness, leaving a community to grapple with the stark realities that lay beneath the surface of everyday life. The courtroom proceedings, a tableau of passion, regret, and redemption, stood as a testament to the intricate dance of justice, seeking to untangle the threads of a story woven from the darkest corners of the human heart. Media frenzy, as the trial unfolded, it didn't just capture the attention of the courtroom. It became a media spectacle, pulling in viewers from all over who were eager to consume every salacious detail of the scandal. News outlets descended upon the quiet neighborhood, transforming the once peaceful streets into a flurry of flashing cameras and relentless reporters. The case wasn't just a local curiosity now. It had become a national sensation, a true crime story that seemed ripped from the pages of fiction. Headlines screamed of the affair turned murder, painting Emily as a woman caught in a web of deceit and passion. Her face splashed across the front pages with a story that drew in readers hungry for drama. This media coverage wielded a powerful influence, shaping public opinion long before the jury returned with its verdict. Television programs dissected every twist and turn, featuring panels of experts and pundits eager to offer their analysis on the motivations and moral implications of the case. Viewers, captivated by the unfolding drama, found themselves taking sides, driven by the narrative crafted by the media. Social media, too, played a role, with discussions erupting across platforms as armchair detectives weighed in on the evidence. Each broadcast and article added another layer of pressure to the proceedings, casting a long shadow over the trial that was impossible to ignore. Emily, already grappling with the legal consequences of her actions, now faced the reality of being tried in the court of public opinion, a space where her life was dissected and deliberated by those who knew her only through sound bites and headlines. This media frenzy didn't just impact Emily, it enveloped her family and community as well, transforming private struggles into public domains. David and their children, once anonymous figures in their suburban life, now found themselves thrust into an unwanted spotlight, their privacy eroded by the constant curiosity of the outside world. Friends and neighbors found their routines interrupted by questions and speculations, their connections to Emily examined under the media's glaring lens. For the legal teams, this intense scrutiny added an additional layer of complexity to their strategies. The prosecution and defense both understood that they were not only addressing a jury, but a nation watching with bated breath. Every statement made in court had to be crafted with the awareness that it would be replayed and picked apart by audiences beyond those present in the room. This heightened media attention became a double-edged sword, generating a paradox of both accountability and sensationalism. The very act of shining a light on the proceedings elevated the stakes, demanding a level of transparency and integrity from all involved, including the community, who found themselves unwittingly cast as supporting characters in this national drama. The media's role was pivotal, not only in documenting the trial, but in actively shaping the narrative that surrounded it. In the end, the impact of this coverage extended beyond the verdict, leaving a lasting imprint on the community and all those involved. It served as a stark reminder of the power the media holds in influencing perceptions and the profound effect it can have on the lives of those caught in its relentless spotlight. As the case concluded, the media frenzy settled, but the echoes of its influence lingered, a testament to the pervasive reach of storytelling and its ability to transform personal tragedy into a public saga. The verdict, a culmination of weeks spent immersed in legal battles and raw testimonies, echoed through the courtroom with a gravity that silenced all present. Guilty, the jury foreperson announced, the weight of the word settling over Emily like a shroud. It was a decision that marked the end of a harrowing chapter, yet opened another fraught with consequences. Emily's face was a portrait of resignation and sorrow, as the realization of her future, now dictated by this judgment, firmly took hold. Her once vibrant life, now reduced to a series of regrettable choices, stood as a beacon of warning against the tumult of unchecked desires. For David, the verdict was both a closure and a new beginning, a chance to rebuild the fragments of a life shattered by betrayal. His journey forward would be one of healing, navigating the complexities of forgiveness and acceptance, a path he hoped would eventually lead to peace. The children, shielded as best they could be from the media storm, would grow up in a world irrevocably altered by their parents' choices, their innocence a poignant casualty of the events that unfolded. The community, too, felt the aftershocks of the verdict, the once idyllic neighborhood grappling with its transformation into a symbol of scandal. Trust and camaraderie, staples of suburban life, had been tested and found wanting, leaving a sense of vulnerability where security once reigned. Neighbors who once viewed each other through the lens of casual familiarity now faced the challenge of rebuilding connections frayed by suspicion and gossip. In the broader societal context, the trial became a mirror reflecting the complexities of human relationships and the consequences of their fractures. It sparked discussions on the nature of desire, fidelity, and the often blurred lines between personal freedom and responsibility. As headlines receded and the media circus moved on, the story left behind a legacy of introspection, prompting many to re-evaluate their own lives through the prism of this cautionary tale. The legal and ethical questions raised by the case continued to resonate, challenging societal norms and inspiring debates on the boundaries of morality and the role of forgiveness in the aftermath of betrayal. The verdict, though final in its legal capacity, was merely a starting point for the countless narratives it inspired, each contributing to an ongoing dialogue about love, loss, and the human condition. In the end, this tragic tale, born from the depths of secrecy and longing, became a reminder of the profound impact our choices have on ourselves and those around us, leaving an indelible mark upon the community and society at large. Reflecting on the saga of Emily and Alex, we are left with lingering questions that echo beyond the confines of this story. What drives people to commit acts that irrevocably alter their lives and the lives of those around them? In the tangled web of emotions and choices, we see the raw human desire for connection and the desperate measures taken in the pursuit of happiness. The affair, a quest for meaning and excitement, becomes a cautionary tale of how easily the lines of moral judgment can be blurred when faced with the allure of forbidden love. From this tragedy, there are profound lessons to be learned. It reminds us of the importance of open communication and the dangers of secrecy and deception, which can fester into something far more destructive. The story underscores the necessity of understanding ourselves and the motivations that drive our actions, as well as the consequences they bear. It illustrates the tragic end that can result when passion overtakes reason and impulsive decisions are left unchecked. The chilling legacy of this affair and murder will linger as a stark testament to the darkness that can reside within the human heart. It serves as a reminder that beneath the surface of everyday life can lie hidden narratives that we often overlook. It challenges us to question the assumptions we make about those around us and compels us to consider the profound impact of our choices. We are left to ponder the fragility of trust and the delicate balance we must maintain between personal desires and collective responsibilities. As we close the chapter on this tale, may it serve as a reflection on the complexities of human relationships and the unpredictable paths they may take. We invite you to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and hit the notification bell to join us in exploring more stories that delve into the enigmatic and unknown. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the most chilling mysteries are those that lie just beneath the surface of our everyday lives.